Ever felt like you're just perpetually a step behind, you know? You plan your days, you try to get disciplined, and then one unexpected thing happens and poof, your whole schedule just goes out the window.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling is, well, it's pretty universal, I think.
It really is, and it's exactly what we're diving into today. Our deep dive is into this really interesting approach called time management from the inside out. And the idea here, it isn't about forcing yourself into some, rigid system that just doesn't fit.
Right.
Instead, it's about designing a life that's a custom fit for you, really rooted in your own unique personality, your actual goals. So our mission for this deep dive is basically to explore how you can genuinely take control of your days.
Yeah.
Really tune into what makes you tick and, consistently spend time on what feels meaningful and actually gives you energy.
Yeah. And what's so compelling about this perspective, I think, is that core idea that any successful organizing system, it only works long term if it's genuinely built around who you are. The source material really emphasizes, you shouldn't try to fundamentally change your personality to fit some system.
Right. Don't bend yourself out of shape.
Exactly. Instead, you build the system based on your likes, your dislikes, what you need, what you desire. It's kind of putting yourself first and then letting the system follow that.
Okay. I like that. So let's kick things off with maybe a big question for you listening right now.
Yeah.
Why do you even want to manage your time better? Really pause and ask yourself, if there was just one thing you could add to your life that would genuinely make you happier, more fulfilled, what would that actually be? Maybe even jot it down. Because the material we looked at, it highlights that this one little statement, as they call it, it gives you this really powerful starting point and motivation too, especially when you're learning new skills that, let's be honest, might feel a bit awkward at first.
So changing habits is tough.
It is. But when you focus on that, that personal gain, that big why,
Yeah.
the path suddenly feels much clearer.
Thinking about the bigger picture here, having that clear why,
Yeah.
it gives meaning, motivation, direction to everything you're trying to do,
Yeah.
like your personal North Star, right? And with that vision really clear in your mind, it just becomes so much easier to prioritize tasks and maybe more importantly, to actually feel good about what you did accomplish at the end of the day.
Even if it wasn't everything on the list.
Exactly. Even if you didn't tick off absolutely everything.
Okay, that brings us to the next really crucial question then. What's truly holding you back? Because, when people struggle with time management, they often jump to this really self-defeating conclusion like, oh, I'm just internally flawed or I'm just out of control.
That negative self-talk.
Right. But the insights we've gathered, they offer this sort of diagnostic tool to help pinpoint the real reasons you might not be getting to what really counts for you.
Yeah, and this tool breaks down the obstacles into 3 levels. The first level is what they call technical errors. And honestly, these are often simpler than they seem.
Okay.
For instance, one is tasks have no home. This is basically when you haven't set aside a specific time for things, like paying bills or writing thank you notes or whatever it is. You're just kind of hoping you'll magically get to them.
Yeah, I'll do it later.
Exactly, later. Another common technical error is that you've set aside the wrong time. We all have these, unique energy cycles, concentration cycles.
Totally. Morning person, night owl.
Right. So if you're truly a night owl trying to tackle your most analytical work first thing in the morning when your brain is still waking up, that's just going to feel like pushing a boulder uphill.
Yeah, recipe for failure.
Pretty much. So the suggestion is schedule those tough tasks for when your mental energy is naturally high.
And here's one I'm definitely guilty of. You've miscalculated how long tasks take. Oh, man. So many of us are just incredibly unrealistic about what we can actually accomplish in a day.
It's so easy to underestimate.
The source material shares this anecdote, I think it was the author, initially thinking client reports would take maybe 1-2 hours. Turns out they actually required a full day.
Wow.
Which meant, 15 other to-dos just didn't happen. And that kind of miscalculation, it leads straight to just massive frustration and, procrastination.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You feel overwhelmed before you even start.
And then, of course, there's just the simple absence of planning time altogether, just not even building it in. What do you think is the biggest, pitfall for most people with those technical errors?
Good question. I think it's often that combination of miscalculation and the lack of a home. We just assume tasks will somehow fit.
Magically appear in the schedule.
Right. And we drastically underestimate how long they'll really take.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on to level 2, external realities. You can't deny that sometimes your environment actively gets in the way.
Yeah, it's not always just us.
Exactly. Think about being in an interruption-rich environment. Doctors, real estate agents, maybe even new parents.
Mm-hmm.
You face constant, often unavoidable interruptions.
Right, you can't just turn off the world.
You can't. So the key here isn't necessarily to eliminate them entirely, because maybe you can't, but to acknowledge them and actually plan for them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe build in some cushion time between things, or try to create an oasis of time, a block, where you can be truly focused.
An oasis, I like that term.
Then there's the challenge of other people's chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Living or working with people who are, well, disorganized,
Yeah.
that can absolutely derail your best laid plans.
Oh, yeah, that could be tough.
The suggestion here is to try and identify common goals you can use for negotiation. Yeah. So with a boss, maybe it's producing the best possible work together. With a partner, maybe it's creating a calm, happy home.
Find common ground.
Right. And if negotiation just isn't really possible or it doesn't work,
Yeah.
then it kind of comes down to you taking responsibility for protecting your own schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Like announcing an earlier meeting time for someone who's always late, or maybe gently rethinking relying on a friend who consistently cancels plans.
What really stands out to me there is that effective time management, it isn't just about our habits, is it? It's also about setting boundaries and actively negotiating our environment. That feels like a powerful shift.
It really is. And finally, we get to level 3, psychological obstacles. Now, these can be incredibly subtle, but they can powerfully impact your ability to manage time. What were some of the maybe more surprising ones the material highlighted? One that often resonates is underlying goals. Like if you say you want a rewarding family life, what does that actually mean in practice? Is it cross-country trips every summer? Or is it having dinner together every single night? Without that clear definition, your energy just kind of diffuses, spread too thin.
Right. You don't know what to aim for day to day.
Exactly. Another fascinating one is the conquistador of crisis.
Ooh, that sounds dramatic.
It does. Some people genuinely feel good, like really energized, conquering impossible situations. So they might inadvertently keep creating them, or at least not avoiding them.
So they thrive on the chaos.
In a way, yeah. And while that ability to handle mayhem is, wonderful in some contexts, the insight is to make sure the chaos you're taming is actually meaningful to your bigger picture and not just self-created busy work to feel heroic.
Gotcha. Make sure the battles are worth fighting.
Precisely. Then there's fear's success change. This can subtly stop you from moving forward. The suggestion here is maybe spend time with people who are successful in the way you want to be to sort of demystify it. Yeah. Or just take gradual small steps towards change, make it less wrenching.
Okay.
Also, the need to be a caretaker, saying yes to absolutely everyone because you have this deep-seated need to feel valued or needed.
The people pleaser trap.
Exactly. But this often leads to resentment. Right. And maybe even neglecting the people who are actually most important to you. The crucial reminder here is saying yes to one person or task invariably means saying no to something or someone else.
That's a hard truth sometimes, and I've seen this next one play out so often. The fear of completion. You might love starting projects, that initial creative buzz.
Oh yeah, the exciting part.
But then struggle to actually finish them? Maybe because you love the process and you hate closing off options. The suggested fix is maybe thinking of your role shifting, like from the creator to the editor near the end. Or maybe even teaming up with a finisher, someone who actually enjoys tying up those loose ends.
That's a great strategy. And for anyone who might have a fear of structure in general, thinking, oh, schedules are too rigid, the whole inside-out approach is key. It's not about forcing rigidity. It's about customizing schedules to fit your natural patterns, making it feel comfortable and personalized.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about what the source material calls the gateway skill to good time management. And it sounds so basic, simply estimating how long things actually take.
It does sound basic, but it's huge.
It is. Most people just ask, what do I need to do? And that leads to those, scary multi-page to-do lists that just make you want to hide.
Totally overwhelming. And it's true, calculating time isn't some, mysterious talent you're born with. It's a completely learnable skill.
Okay, good.
But if you consistently under or overestimate how long tasks take, you'll just constantly feel defeated, or you'll be much more prone to procrastination. And it's often influenced by how we feel about a task, right?
No, yeah.
Like doing the dishes might feel like it takes an hour because you dread it, while, endlessly surfing the web might feel like 10 minutes because it's easy.
Yeah.
Regardless of the actual clock time.
Ah, that's so true. Okay, so the material offers 2 really practical exercises to get better at this estimating thing. First, target 3 tasks. Pick 3 things you usually put off. Then actually time yourself doing each one, maybe at least 3 times, to get a solid, realistic average.
Takes the guesswork right out.
Exactly. No more, oh, it feels like. No, this is what it actually takes. And second, keep track in your daily planner. Just for 1 week, next to each thing on your to-do list, jot down your estimated time before you start. Then, when you finish, write down the actual time it took.
You'll see patterns pretty quickly.
For sure. It helps you really understand your unique relationship to different kinds of tasks. Okay, writing always takes longer than I think, but phone calls are usually shorter, stuff like that.
Thinking about the bigger picture, this skill is especially powerful for those really big projects. The advice is always to break them down into manageable steps.
Right, don't try to eat the elephant whole.
Exactly. Like that example is Steve's study schedule from the source. He had this massive book to read. Instead of seeing it as this, like, insurmountable task.
Yeah, just read book. Overwhelming.
Right. He broke it down to 50 pages a night. Suddenly, this huge project feels doable, much less stressful.
And this estimating skill, it's also incredibly useful when you're dealing with other people's requests, isn't it? Instead of just that knee-jerk yes, you can pause and ask, okay, how much time is actually needed for this? And then decide if it truly fits your schedule, your priorities.
It gives you control back.
Yeah. The book shares that example of Becky, the mom who started building in cushion time for her kids' little quirks in the morning, like Sarah's multiple outfit changes before school.
Oh, I know that one.
Or Benji being slow to respond to his alarm. By just acknowledging their natural pace and building it in, she stopped the daily fights and lateness. It transformed chaotic mornings into relatively calm ones.
That's the inside-out approach right there, working with reality, not against it.
Exactly. So understanding these obstacles, getting better at estimating time, that gives us a great foundation. But how do we actually apply all this to the whirlwind of daily tasks and demands? That's where the material introduces this really practical tool called the Wade formula.
Ah, yes, Wade-Eid. It's straightforward, but honestly incredibly effective for sorting through that daily pileup. It stands for, write it down.
Okay.
Get everything you think you have to do out of your head and into one reliable place. Your planner, a dedicated to-do pad, whatever works, just get it down.
Clears the mental clutter.
Totally. Then add it up. This is where you estimate how long each task will actually take. Use those estimating skills you've been honing. And remember to break down bigger projects into smaller, bite-sized steps.
Right. Don't just write plan party, break it down.
Exactly. Then decide. Okay, looking at your list and the estimated times, what will you actually commit to doing today? If you find you've got way more than you have time for, which is common, this is where you apply those powerful 4 Ds. Delete, delay, delegate, or diminish tasks.
The 4 Ds. We'll come back to those.
We will. And finally, execute. Put your plan into action. And the crucial part here really is to try and avoid getting bogged down by procrastination or perfectionism. Just, do it.
This formula really seems to shine in those real-life, high-pressure moments. The author talks about this time when she had to manage her daughter's bat mitzvah prep and an unexpected appearance on the Oprah show, like at the same time.
Wow, talk about pressure.
Right. She used Wade to navigate what she called those whirlwind 2 weeks. She'd already written everything down for the bat mitzvah. Then she added all the new Oprah-related tasks. Realizing she had way more tasks than time, she applied the decide step.
The 4 Ds came in handy.
Big time. She deleted shopping for new clothes, decided to just wear what she owned. She delegated stuff like product ordering and assembling the ceremony programs. And she delayed basically every non-urgent project until after that period.
Smart. Ruthless prioritization.
Totally. And that allowed her to successfully execute her plan. And she said it ended up being one of the most glorious and surprisingly calm weeks of her life, despite the craziness.
That's a fantastic illustration of how it works under fire.
It really is. Now, if we want to make space for all this stuff, like applying Wade, how do we actually just do things faster? The book gives some really clever shortcuts and also dives into the power of delegation.
Yeah, the insights offer a whole bunch of practical examples for doing things faster. And often it comes down to streamlining your common routines and preparing things in advance.
Okay, like what?
Well, think about creating dedicated stations for repetitive tasks. So like a bill-paying center that has everything you need right there, checks, stamps, calculator, envelopes. It just eliminates all that hunting around for supplies every time.
Saves those little minutes that add up.
Exactly. Or for errands and chores, simple shifts can make a big difference, like setting up a folding table right there in your laundry space so you can fold immediately. Or designating an errand center by the door, a specific spot for library books to return, dry cleaning to drop off, stuff like that.
Makes sense. Get it ready to go.
Right. And for recurring admin tasks, like birthdays and holidays, think about preparing in bulk. Maybe billing cards for the whole year at once and addressing them. Or even deciding on a signature gift that you give consistently to certain people. It simplifies things.
Takes the decision fatigue out of it.
Precisely. And when it comes to travel, even a simple act like writing address labels for postcards before you leave town can save you precious vacation time trying to remember addresses.
Yeah.
The underlying principle is really about proactive planning and creating these friction-free systems.
What really jumps out at me from all those different shortcuts is the power of micro-optimizations. It's not always about finding one huge efficiency hack. It's often about consistently finding these little ways to trim seconds or minutes here and there, and then they compound into really significant time savings over time, building those friction-free systems.
Absolutely. And then there's the incredible power of delegation, which isn't just about offloading work. It really builds teamwork and allows everyone to contribute where they're best suited,
Freeing you up.
freeing you up to focus on your unique strengths exactly. When you're thinking about what to delegate, the key question to ask is there someone else who could do this faster, better, or maybe just well enough?
That well enough is important, isn't it? It doesn't always have to be perfect.
Crucial. And then for whom to delegate to? Think beyond just staff, if you have them. Maybe coworkers you could trade skills, right? I'll help you with this spreadsheet if you help me set up email filters. Or maybe even your boss. Sometimes asking for their input early can speed things up dramatically.
But here's the hesitation I always hear and feel sometimes. Is it really worth the time to delegate? Especially when you feel like you're already drowning and explaining it feels like one more task.
Yeah, that's a common hurdle. The book's clear answer is yes, absolutely. Especially for recurring tasks, even if it takes a bit of time to explain it properly the first time, the long-term payoff is huge. It shares Regan's story. She was a single working mom, and her basement actually flooded when her 12-year-old son tried to do the laundry for the first time on his own.
Oh no, disaster.
Total disaster. But she learned a valuable lesson. Even if her kids didn't do the chores perfectly, sharing the labor freed up her time significantly. And, maybe surprisingly, it actually brought the family closer together. It was a trade-off that had unexpected benefits beyond just time.
That's a great story. Imperfect action is better than no action sometimes.
Totally. And there's another example, Maureen, a working mom who felt completely burdened trying to do everything perfectly, like some kind of 1950s housewife ideal, while also holding down a full-time job. She was just exhausted.
Sounds draining.
Utterly. But simple solutions like just labeling kitchen shelves clearly or moving the kids' snack foods down to lower shelves they could reach easily enabled her husband and kids to actually help out without her needing to constantly supervise.
Empowered them.
Exactly. It fostered teamwork. And ultimately, it made her more accessible to her family and, importantly, gave her back time for herself. She even managed to let go of washing the kitchen floor every single night.
Wow, letting go of the impossible standard. Okay, let's tackle the beast that often goes hand in hand with poor time management. The dreaded paper piles.
The paper monster.
Yes, it's such a common cry for help, like that example from the source, Donna, just please, help, paper has taken over my life.
It feels that way sometimes, doesn't it? So the material offers this quick start, 3-step program to try and tame the paper. Step 1, assess your backlog.
Okay. Face the reality.
Exactly. This means realistically estimating how much time is actually needed to deal with all those piles of paper. Donna, in the example, she initially thought, oh, I just need a few extra file drawers. But when she actually sat down and tallied up the tasks hidden in those papers, she was shocked. It was 9.5 hours of work.
Wow, that's like more than a full workday just sitting there.
Right. It's often way more than we think.
Yeah.
So that's a real eye-opener. Step 2, weed it down. Once you have that realistic assessment, you apply the 4 Ds again, delete, delay, diminish, delegate, to try and reduce that backlog by at least 2/3.
Be ruthless.
Be ruthless. This step is really about releasing the guilt. I mean, many of those tasks have probably been buried for months anyway. If you hadn't done this exercise, they'd likely just stay buried. So let them go.
Permission to purge. I like it. And then step 3, stay ahead of the game. This involves a few key ongoing strategies. First, reduce your reading pile.
The endless stack of magazines and articles.
Totally. If you find yourself rereading stuff, you might be doing what they call passive regression. A trick is to place a blank card, or even just your hand on top of the text you've already read, to force your eyes to keep moving forward.
Interesting. Physical cue.
Yeah. And for nonfiction, try focusing just on keywords or the first sentences of paragraphs to quickly scan and find what's actually valuable, instead of feeling like you have to read every single word meticulously.
Good tip for information overload.
Second, improve your filing system. Common mistakes here are things like your files are too far away, like across the room.
So you never actually file anything.
Exactly. Or the system is way too complicated, or it's just plain boring, so you avoid it. Solutions involve moving active files right within arm's reach, filing by broad topic, not super specific categories, and maybe adding some visual flair with color coding to make it less drab.
Make it appealing.
Yeah. The book even suggests things like straight line filing, where all the tabs are in the same position, makes scanning easier. Or tab coding to communicate info quickly, like maybe a left tab means a completed project, a right tab means it's still pending. The key takeaway they stress is files are for retrieval, not just for storage. Can you find it when you need it?
That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
And the third part of staying ahead is set aside daily time to process paperwork. Create a little mail station near your filing system so you can deal with stuff immediately.
Don't let it pile up again.
Exactly. Avoid just tossing unscheduled projects or papers into your briefcase hoping you'll get to them. Only bring work home if you've actually scheduled time for it. And most importantly, be decisive. Once you open a piece of mail or look at a new document, immediately take action. Toss it or file it. Don't fall into that trap of, oh, just look at this quickly and then put it right back in the inbox pile.
Handle it once. That focus on immediate action seems so critical.
Okay, now let's talk about a really crucial tool for all of this, the planner. The source material basically states that everyone needs a planner. Doesn't matter how busy or supposedly calm your life is.
Yeah, it's pretty emphatic about that. But what's often overlooked is why people tend to abandon planners after trying them. If you've tried using one and it just didn't stick, chances are you probably made one of 3 common mistakes.
Okay, what are they?
1, you didn't pick the right kind of planner for you. 2, you didn't really take the time to master its features and how to use it effectively. Or 3, you didn't make it the one and only place where you record absolutely all your appointments and to-dos.
Ah, the single source of truth principle.
Exactly. Think of Elise from the book. She tried everything. Magnetic planners, a Palm Pilot back in the day. But she ended up just covered in Post-it notes everywhere, feeling totally out of control and even double booking herself like 5 times in one single Saturday. Oh my gosh, chaos. So the material highlights 2 key choices you need to make when picking a planner. Choice #1. Paper or electronic.
The great debate.
Right. And it acknowledges some people really thrive on that tactile nature of paper, writing things down. Others are fully digital. The absolutely critical point, though, is one life, one planner. Trying to split your life between, say, a paper planner for work and a digital one for personal usually leads to disaster. Things fall through the cracks.
Total chaos is right. It has to be integrated.
And choice #2. Stationary or portable. This really just depends on your lifestyle. Do you mostly plan and work from one central spot, like your desk? Or do you need the flexibility to make plans, check schedules, add tasks while you're out and about?
Makes sense. And thinking about the practical pros and cons, paper planners generally offer a better immediate visual overview of your week or day. They're flexible, you can doodle, they're less distracting maybe.
No notifications popping up.
Exactly. And great for referencing old pages. Digital planners, on the other hand, obviously they're searchable, it's easy to group and rearrange data, you've got backups, they can be networked, they're lightweight.
Lots of advantages.
Huge advantages. But they can sometimes be harder for really visual thinkers to get that quick, single-screen overview of everything. And sometimes just accessing them takes a click or two more than flipping open a book.
Trade-offs either way. So once you have chosen your planner, the source offers some tips for using it effectively, like plug in all those annual events, birthdays, anniversaries, checkups right at the beginning of the year.
Get them in there so you don't forget.
Use small Post-it notes, maybe, within the planner for tasks if you need that flexibility to easily move things around days. Record every single call, project, appointment, task. Make it your absolute single source of truth.
Don't keep separate lists floating around.
Right. Write legibly, keep your planner visible, don't bury it in a drawer. And crucially, schedule just 15 minutes every single day, maybe at the end of the day, to review what you actually accomplished and reschedule anything that didn't get done. That daily check-in is absolutely vital for keeping the system alive.
That maintenance piece is key.
Okay, now let's go a bit deeper. Tuning in to who you truly are. This feels like it goes beyond just the techniques and tools. It's about genuine self-analysis.
It really is the inside-out part.
Yeah.
And the material suggests starting with something called the What's Working exercise,
Yes.
which I think is fantastic. It's a great way to boost your self-confidence and actually identify the time management skills you already possess.
Even if you don't realize it.
Exactly. Even if you're only selectively applying them, as the
Yeah.
book says. Examples might be, you're always on time for flights no matter what. Or you really enjoy exercising, but only when you have a buddy.
Mm.
Or maybe you delegate laundry easily, but nothing else. It just reminds you that you do have these skills somewhere inside you.
That's a really smart approach. Build on your strengths first. Then I guess you can move to what's not working to pinpoint those persistent problem areas. Like maybe you never seem to have enough time for exercise, or you spend way too much time on cleaning, or you perpetually procrastinate on those big, important projects.
Right. The book gives James as an example. He figured out that time spent with clients was incredibly energizing for him, but solitary office work just completely drained him.
Okay.
So what did he do?
His solution was to structure his day differently. He created specific, timed blocks for the draining office tasks, and then he deliberately interspersed them with people contact, making phone calls, scheduling client lunches to kind of recharge his batteries throughout the day.
Managing his energy, not just his time.
Precisely, which leads directly into understanding your energy cycles and sources. It's so crucial to study yourself, trying to tackle really challenging activities when your personal energy is naturally low. It's just counterproductive. It feels awful.
Like that night owl trying to write reports at 6 a.m. Exactly. If you constantly try to work out at 6 a.m., but you consistently hit the snooze button 5 times, guess what? You're probably not a morning person. And understanding your natural rhythms gives you a powerful point of negotiation, right? It allows you to often schedule tasks for your optimal times when you'll be most effective. Yeah. I've certainly found that in my own work, I do my best creative thinking early in the morning, so that's when I protect time for writing.
Yeah. Makes total sense. And it's also important to recognize those external factors that can zap your energy too, right? Like just really long days, constant pressure, monotony, even things like dim lighting in your office.
Oh yeah, environment matters.
The key is to identify your personal energy boosters, what actually picks you up. For some people, it might be doing a quick set of jumping jacks. For others, calling a friend for a quick laugh, or maybe switching from a focused, solitary task to something more collaborative or social.
Or vice versa. Maybe you need quiet time.
Right. It's personal, but the point is, building enough variety into your day is essential to keep yourself feeling invigorated and avoid that complete burnout feeling.
It's about sustainable productivity.
Okay, this brings us to what feels like a really crucial step. Defining your goals and creating your time map. The idea is, if your life feels out of balance, it's often because your time is probably being sucked up by the areas where your goals are clearer.
Like work often is.
Exactly. Maybe neglecting other areas, like health or relationships or personal growth, that are just as important but maybe less clearly defined.
Yeah, and it's important here to distinguish between a big picture goal, which is like your destination, say, achieving overall fitness.
Okay.
An activity, which is how you get there, like regular exercise, and a task, which is a specific component of that activity, like running on the treadmill for 30 minutes today.
Gotcha. Goal, activity, task. Clear breakdown.
Right. And the material really encourages you to let yourself dream a bit here. Set those big picture goals for each important category of your life, not just career or finances. Think about health, family, community, personal development, fun, all of it.
And it's okay if those goals change.
Absolutely. It reminds us you can always adjust goals later. And it's also perfectly okay to just release goals. You realize, you know what? I don't actually truly want that anymore. It's not set in stone.
Good permission to have.
So this is where time mapping comes in. It's the practical tool to actually arrange everything you want to do based on those goals within the real confines of your week. The book uses this great closet metaphor. Your rent is like a closet. You only have so much space. How do you fit everything in neatly?
I like that visual. And the book gives some really compelling examples of this in action.
It really does. Take William. He was a CFO, trying for years to write his autobiography. But his approach was totally haphazard, as he called it, and he'd written almost nothing.
Just fitting it in whenever, which means never.
Pretty much. A time map helped him carve out specific, routine writing time. 1 hour every morning before work, and then a solid 5-hour block on Saturdays.
Right.
Within just 3 months of doing that consistently, he had 3 whole chapters drafted.
Wow. Structure made it happen.
Structure and commitment. Then there's Jason, the attorney. His real passion was doing pro bono work, but his schedule was just a complete free-for-all, and he wasn't hitting enough billable hours for his firm.
Stressful situation.
Very. By structuring his workday using a time map, he managed to balance his billable time requirements, maintain relationships within the firm, and dedicate specific blocks to his passion of pro bono work. It prevented that chaos and made sure all the important pieces got attention.
That's powerful. How about someone not in a traditional job?
Great question. Allie, stay-at-home mom, used time mapping for her quote-unquote days off, days when her kids were at school or cared for. She used it to maximize her productivity for home projects and errands, but crucially, also to schedule in dedicated self-time.
Protecting that personal time.
Exactly. The structure ensured she actually rewarded herself with that personal time at the end of the week, preventing those days off from just evaporating into chores and feeling unproductive.
I can relate to that.
Miranda, a financial planner, used to let her clients completely dictate her schedule. She'd take meetings whenever they wanted, which meant she was always doing her actual portfolio work late into the night.
Burning the midnight oil.
Constantly. She used time mapping to block out specific morning and early evening slots just for client meetings, and then dedicated her afternoons for focused, uninterrupted project work. It completely eliminated those midnight hours she used to put in. She took control back.
Brilliant. Any other examples?
One more really interesting one. Brendan, a sculptor. His work was really labor-intensive and required deep, focused immersion. A typical hourly schedule didn't work for him.
Right, creative flow needs different structure.
Totally. So the book helped him design a vertical time map where he dedicated entire days to specific things like Mondays and Tuesdays for gallery work, Wednesdays for a specific park commission project, Thursdays for rest and errands, Fridays for recharging creatively. It honored his natural, project-based, highly focused work style and prevented him from burning out.
That really shows the flexibility of the inside-out idea. It's not one size fits all.
Not at all. It's about finding your rhythm.
Okay, so we've got the big picture with time mapping. Let's bring it back down to the daily grind again. How do we manage that constant flow of incoming tasks and requests day to day? The book suggests applying the SPACE formula, which is often used for organizing physical clutter directly to organizing your to-dos.
Yeah, it translates surprisingly well. The SPACE formula has 5 steps, just like for physical clutter.
First, group your potential tasks by the life category and the goal they support. Connect them to your why.
Then, eliminate the excess, use those 4 Ds again, delete, delay, diminish, or delegate. Get rid of what doesn't belong. Assign a home. For the tasks you keep, commit to a specific day and time to do them. Put them in your schedule.
This is key. Keep tasks within their allotted time slot. Try hard not to let them spill over and disrupt the next thing.
And finally, this is the ongoing maintenance step. You regularly refine, maintain, and adapt your schedule as your needs and priorities inevitably change.
Okay, so when you're in that initial sort phase, the material suggests this really crucial mental check for every single task that comes across your radar. Question 1. Which life category and goal does this actually support?
Connecting it back to the big picture.
Exactly. It connects the task to your deeper why. So reading that financial publication, that supports your personal finance goal. Coordinating the fundraiser for the local park supports community. And this also helps you turn those annoying have-to tasks into want-to tasks by really connecting them to your values. Well, like, staying home from work with a sick child might feel like a have-to, an obligation that messes up your day. But when you consciously connect it to your goal of making your child feel loved and secure, it transforms into a want-to, a deliberate choice aligned with your values.
Reframing the purpose. That's powerful.
Then, question 2. Where in your schedule does it fit? This just helps you avoid overloading one specific area of your life, like all work tasks and no personal ones. And question 3. How long will it really take? This brings back that estimating skill. It helps you judge a task's value and importance relative to other options and how efficiently you can do it. Like, imagine a small business owner trying to decide on marketing. Should they do a phone campaign, a postcard mailing, a newsletter? Estimating the time commitment for each helps them choose the path that gives the best potential payoff for the time invested.
Making informed choices about time allocation. Okay, let's dive a bit deeper into that purge step and the 4 Ds, right?
Delete, diminish, delegate, delay.
To delete is simple, conceptually at least. Just let go of tasks that honestly don't have enough impact or value. If it's not truly contributing to your goals, maybe it doesn't deserve your precious time.
Permission to just say no, even to yourself.
Exactly. To diminish means doing a fast job or maybe just a good enough job when absolute perfection isn't actually required. This is a tough one for a lot of people, the perfectionists.
Oh, yeah.
The book shares Charlotte's story. She was a former fashion photographer who basically stopped taking any pictures of her kids because she felt she couldn't do it perfectly, like her professional work. She was missing out on capturing their childhood.
That's sad.
It is. The advice she got was to just embrace digital photography, lower her standards, and aim for some pictures instead of none. Letting go of perfection allowed her to capture memories again.
Good enough is better than nothing.
Absolutely. To delegate, as we've discussed, ask if someone else could do it faster, better, or just well enough. And really try not to let guilt or that feeling of being too busy to delegate stop you. Remember, for recurring tasks, that initial time investment to explain it always pays off.
Long-term gain.
And finally, to delay. This means consciously postponing tasks to a time that genuinely works better with your schedule and your priorities. This isn't the same as procrastination. It's a strategic scheduling choice, moving it to a more opportune moment when you can give it the right attention.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, containerize. This sounds like a really critical skill for making time management stick. Making swift decisions and then sticking to your plan, not letting things bleed all over the place.
It's huge. It's about respecting the boundaries you set for your time. And a big part of this is overcoming procrastination, when it's time to actually do the task you scheduled.
Yeah, the execution part.
The book suggests several tactics here. Break down those overwhelming tasks into really small, manageable first steps. Or try combining a miserable task with something you actually enjoy, like only letting yourself listen to your favorite podcast while you're cleaning the bathroom.
Habit stacking, kind of.
Exactly. Or just give yourself a really short time limit, like I'll just work on this for 10 minutes just to get started. Often starting is the hardest part. You could also use false deadlines you set for yourself, or adopt some kind of motivating catchphrase like, just do it, whatever works for you.
Find your trigger to get moving. What about overcoming chronic lateness? That feels related to containerizing too, not letting the previous thing make you late for the next.
Definitely related.
Yeah.
First step is to diagnose the root cause. The book suggests if you're always late, but by different amounts of time, it's probably those technical errors we talked about, misestimating travel time, not saying no, getting sidetracked by interruptions.
Fixable with skills.
Right. But if you find you're always late by roughly the same amount of time, like always exactly 10 minutes late, it often points to deeper psychological roots. Maybe a fear of downtime or that conquistador of chaos thing again, liking the rush of arriving at the last second.
Interesting distinction.
Yeah, it shares Natalie's story. She realized her chronic lateness actually stemmed from a deep-seated fear of downtime, like anxiety about just sitting and waiting. When she bravely started experimenting with being early, she was shocked to find it actually felt great, not anxious.
Wow. Confronting the fear.
Exactly. The advice isn't to ignore the underlying anxiety if it's there, but to acknowledge it, respect it, and still choose to move through it and practice being on time.
Powerful. And finally, under containerized controlling interruptions. How do we do that in a practical way?
Well, first, plan for them, especially if you know you're in an interruption-rich environment. Don't schedule your day so tightly that one unexpected phone call throws everything off. Build in some buffer.
Assume they'll happen.
Assume they will. Try to create those oases of genuinely uninterrupted time for your most important focused work. Maybe that means closing your door, putting on headphones, turning off notifications.
Signal or unavailable.
Right. Let voicemail take calls when you're deep in focus. Schedule specific, limited times to check and respond to emails rather than having it open and pinging you every 5 minutes. And critically, choose your quiet hours wisely for that highly concentrated work. Maybe it's early morning before others are active, or late at night, not usually mid-afternoon when things are buzzing.
Be strategic about protecting focus time.
Exactly. It's all about actively managing those boundaries. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, I think it's really important to remember this crucial point. You probably won't finish every single item on your to-do list every single day. And you know what? That's perfectly okay.
Letting go of that expectation.
Yes. The ultimate goal of this whole inside-out approach isn't perfection. It's to help you regularly, consistently get to all the important things in your life. The things that truly align with your unique personality, your values, and your goals.
Right. So what does this all really mean for you listening? I think it means building a life, designing a way of managing your time that genuinely accommodates your natural behavior patterns, your energy levels, your unique relationship to time itself.
Hmm.
It's truly about designing a system that works with you, not constantly feeling like you're fighting against some external standard.
Finding your own flow.
Finding your flow, exactly.
Oh.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If time management really does start from the inside out, if it's about helping you define and then pursue what's most meaningful to you, what is just one have-to task in your life right now that you could maybe bravely try to transform into a want-to this week? How could you shift your perspective on it, connect it to one of your deeper desires or bigger goals, and change how you approach it?